Have you ever been publicly shamed for something you weren't even guilty of, only to turn around and deliver the most brutal, poetic revenge imaginable?
My teen daughters were harassed in public by smug church ladies, all because my dead ex-husband's mommy couldn't handle the truth. So I turned her entire holier-than-thou congregation against her, using a homemade binder of sin. And trust me, this one's going straight to the book of karma. If you've ever dreamed of standing up to toxic in-laws or exposing a liar in the most satisfying way possible, go ahead and hit that like button. It helps more than you know. And if you're new here, subscribe for weekly stories that'll have you screaming justice from your couch. Setting the scene, the pain behind payback. I'm 46, a mother to two beautiful daughters, 17 and 15, who have already endured more pain than most girls their age should ever have to. It all started when my husband of over 20 years, yes, died unexpectedly last year in a car accident. But the real tragedy, that honestly began long before his death. We were in the middle of a divorce when he died, because I had discovered he had not one, but two children with another woman behind my back. That woman also died in the same crash. So now, he left behind 4 children, 2 in my world and 2 from his affair. Orphans, traumatized, and mixed in it all were my ex-in-laws. The in-laws from hell. My ex's parents, both pushing 80, had the audacity to not only demand I let them move into my home, but also tried to seek custody of my daughters. Yes, the same daughters who were devastated after discovering their dad's betrayal, not from me, but with their own eyes. They were the ones who stumbled on the proof of his double life. They're also the same ones who've been called bastards and ungrateful by the very grandparents supposedly trying to win custody. So no, my daughters wanted nothing to do with them, and I backed them up 100%. The market incident. Harassed on her birthday. Fast forward to last week, there's this charming weekend market near us. Farm fresh produce, homemade chocolates, jams, the whole vibe. It's my youngest daughter's birthday month. And to celebrate, I gave her money and told her to explore, spoil herself. But what should have been a wholesome mother-daughter day turned nightmare in minutes. I was just browsing tomatoes when my phone rang. It was my youngest, and she was crying, panicked. She barely got out, "Mom, there's some old ladies yelling at me." I ran through the stalls, heart in my throat, my eldest at my side. And there she was, surrounded by six elderly women screaming at my daughter like some scene from a cult intervention. They were ranting about how she was unChristian for not embracing her brothers, the affair kits, and how she was abandoning her godly grandparents. My daughter, just 15, was shaking, clutching a bag of sweets like it was a shield. I saw red. I stepped between them and my child, shielding her physically like the lioness I am. I sent my girls to the car and I turned on those women. Some of them I recognized from my former in-laws' church. They said I was failing my Christian duties as a wife and a bad mother for not healing the family, that I should be teaching my girls to obey. Obey? I told them, voice shaking with rage and a decade of repressed fury, that not only was I not their follower, but that toxic forgiveness isn't holiness. It's trauma wrapped in a Bible verse. We were all kicked out of the market eventually. The scene had drawn attention. But the worst part wasn't the screaming. It was watching my daughters cry in the car on the ride home. My youngest whispered, "Did I do something really bad, Mom?" It broke me. The smear campaign. That night, when they were tucked in bed, I turned on my laptop and, sure enough, it was already in motion. My ex-mother-in-law had weaponized the church's Facebook group, a private online community filled with elderly gossips and bless-your-heart bigots. She posted this tragic fairy tale that we, me and my daughters, abandoned her, left them homeless, took the life insurance, refused to even talk to the babies, who were apparently my surrogate children, according to her. She told everyone I was too self-centered to raise boys and that I turned my husband away from God. The comments, full of halos and pitchforks, everyone calling us heartless, Jezebels, heathens. Some even accused my girls of being possessed. But here's the one tiny detail she forgot. Their church hates cheaters. This church is a lot of things. Judgmental? Clearly. Anti-LGBTQ? Unfortunately, yes. But you know what they really hate? Adultery. It's their cornerstone sin. Whether it's a man or woman cheating doesn't matter. It condemns both equally. And right then and there, I knew exactly how to dethrone Saint Granny Gaslight once and for all. The binder of sin. Sweet, sweet prep work. Remember, I was mid-divorce when my husband died, which meant I still had every single piece of evidence from those proceedings and no legal restrictions stopping me from using them. I spent the next morning at a print shop. I didn't just print screenshots. I curated an experience. Photos of my husband making out with his mistress on our couch, texts timestamped during our anniversary dinners, emails between him and his parents where they celebrated his new babies and urged him to cut the emotional deadweight, aka me and his daughters. And the worst one was a message from my ex-mother-in-law to my daughter, 2 days after her father died, saying that this was her fault and calling her a jealous bastard. I paid extra to get them printed on thick, glossy paper. Then I crafted personalized binders, soft leather covers that looked like mini hymn books, gold-stamped crosses on the front. The first page, a full-page image of my ex with his mistress, mid-kiss. Underneath it read, "The true story of my ex and my affair partner, a modern marriage disaster. The delivery, Sunday service revenge." That Sunday before dawn, I drove to the church. There's a little table by the rear pew where they keep extra hymn packets for those who forget their own. And they never, ever check those. I slid binder after binder onto that desk, 12 in total, and then I walked away. I didn't have to wait long. By Monday afternoon, the church's Facebook group was on fire. The comments went from prayers for dear in-law to full-on biblical judgment. Adulterer, deceiver, thou shalt not bear false witness. The kicker? Someone uploaded scanned copies of the binders into the comments. The pastor had to personally disable commenting because it got too graphic. People were furious. Some demanded the ex-in-laws leave the church. A few even mailed my daughter's apology letters. One person offered to drive us to Bible study themselves. But the best part? I was still technically at fault for the divorce. According to some, I failed to hold the home together. But, they said, after such a holy betrayal, your fall from grace was understandable, sister. Oh, and they called the mistress a Jezebel, with another word that I probably can't say on YouTube without getting demonetized. My ex-mother-in-law? She was shunned. Her Facebook wall became a digital confession booth. Post after post, guilt-tripping the universe, crying about ageism, betrayal, and how no one cares about the elderly. She's now been alienated even by the extremists she once manipulated. Her own congregation, a place she twisted into a weapon against us, has turned its back on her. And my daughters, they are healing. They could feel the shift. The narrative changed. They're no longer the evil kids who rejected grandma. They're survivors whose truth finally saw daylight. So what's the lesson here? Simple. When someone uses faith as a weapon, the best way to beat them is with cold, hard truth and a little help from a perfectly timed binder full of sins. Because karma might not wear a robe or carry a cross, but oh, does it deliver? If this story gave you chills or made you cheer in your seat, smash that like button. And tell us in the comments, what's the most savage, justified revenge you've ever seen? And hey, subscribe for more stories like this every week. Around here, justice isn't just served, it's oven roasted, binder bound, and church certified.